We're back with another episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series, guys and gals. Oh, this is exciting. We're finally here at episode 250. That's really cool. Also, it's a fan-submitted MOCs episode. And also, I've been covering so many collabs, it feels like I promised you this many weeks ago. And now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're at the top. And there's more collabs coming because you guys are just insane beasts and you're making incredible community builds that I really want to cover because they look so amazing. So more's coming. There's a lot of exciting things coming for the channel, don't you worry. Anyway, fan submit a mock episode. Every 10th episode, that's what I do. I take your mocks from the submissions and I put them in an episode, and it's all very exciting and fun. So how can you submit your mocks, you ask? Well, it's through the submission email that's on your screen right now. Send me whatever you want. Images, info, all in one email, whatever works. Even if you don't have any image, images helps. You do need that, unless you just want to send me a link or something. That's up to you. But if you don't have any information about it, that's fine. I mean, it's helpful if you give me your name or your the MOCs name. That's also important. Really, whatever floats your boat, chuck it in an email, send it my way, and I'll see about putting it into a Fan Submit a MOCs episode or any episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series. So that's the premise. We're going to spotlight some MOCs from the community now to inspire you so you can get some ideas for building your own cool stuff. The first fan-submitted mock that we've got today, this is Takua, the Chronicler of Okoto. And this has been built by BoiseGang Gaming. I love this. I do love a good sort of digital mock now and then. These are always a good bit of fun. And I also just like my boy Takua, because he's a fun character from the old Bionicle movies. So what I like about this is the accessory game is strong with this one. I love his cool little hat, his neat little backpack, and his little sandals. He's got little sandals, and they're like color-coded with his backpack. He's accessorizing and stylizing. He's looking fantastic. So I love that. It's rare to see MOCs with exciting footwear like that. So very, very clever just to sort of change up the color there and have it work exceptionally well. I also love this little image here where he's around a campfire and he's sort of taking his hat off and he's maybe using it to cook cook himself some dinner, and he's just having a good time. So I don't know, I love seeing accessories like this on a mock, whether they're a big or small mock, it doesn't really matter, but it just looks cool, doesn't it? So yeah, if you're planning on building a mock, give him a backpack, give him a cool hat, give him a satchel or just a potion or a drink or something. I don't know. I always think it's a fun little thing you can do that can really go a long way to just really enhancing your mocks, and I think it works really, really well here. So absolutely love that. Also just cool to see a very poseable, articulated Takua here, sort of built more for Okoto, which is the name of the island from Bionicle G2. So I also like seeing G1 characters be reimagined in more of a G2 style. So that's also really refreshing here and just cool. So maybe that's something you could do as well. Take a look at some of those older characters and build them in a new light, something fun. So that's this mock. Let's go to the next mock. This is by biophantsamurai, a very, very awesome builder from the old Instagrams. And this is Big Borok. Now, this was built for an Into the Borokverse collab. That sounds awesome. Maybe I'll have to cover that one soon, too. But I adore this. I love seeing just sort of like big hulking versions of characters. We spoke before about rebuilding an older character. Why not build a character that was originally maybe not as big, but build them huge like this? It's so cool. One of my favorite little details, just as a nice kind of parts use, you can see it on the knees, you can see it on the elbows, is the inclusion of one of these Robo Rider wheel pieces in orange. I don't know, I like that. To me, I get the image of like Iron Man armor, because in some of his joints he kind of has stuff like that, or even just any sort of like robot where, I don't know, I can totally see those wheels sort of moving as his knees articulate or something, and it's just cool, it's nice. It's also clever to put those wheel pieces there just to kind of cover up the, where the arm meets the upper arm or the leg meets the upper leg, whatever. And it's just fun. So it's a nice little inclusion of that piece there that I just think works well. I also love how menacing the face looks now. It's cool to see a Borok suddenly look quite terrifying. And it's even cooler. There's a sort of video of it on Instagram. So be sure to check the links in the description below and have a look at Biophantsamurai's stuff. Give him a follow. Give his post a like. Maybe comment. Maybe just say, hey, I like your stuff. Came from the Bionicle Inspiration series. Wanted to say we like this. I don't know. Maybe just do something cheeky like that. See what you want to do. But yeah, there was a video of the head actually having a sort of like kind of moving mechanism sort of thing where he kind of does a little bite attack sort of thing, very akin to the original Borok of sorts. So be sure to check that out because it's really cool. You can kind of see it in this image here, but it's not as cool as the video. Go check that out. And because it's on Instagram, I can't really save that and put it on the show. So not something I could put here, unfortunately, but you have to check the links in the description. Get on it. So what else do I like about this mock? He's got more kind of like pronounced tusks now. You know, the original Borok just had little tiny teeth, little tiny claws, little pincers or something. This one here has like elephant tusks, which is awesome. Really, really cool. And kind of fitting for biophantsamurai, because it's kind of like elephant bionicle samurai all enrolled into one. So he's even kind of tied the mock into his name, which is kind of clever. I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but that's what I see. So yeah, overall, just awesome to see a big old Borok. Really, really cool. Let's move over to the next mock now. This is a mock by Clockwork Guardian, and this guy here is his self-mock, and he's called Gungo the Crazy Pirate. So there's a real kind of gentlemanly aesthetic to this mock, and I like it. I like it a lot. Always cool to see a nice little top hat, and works surprisingly well with that skull mask there. But the real highlight is the beautiful sort of like, I don't know, gentlemanly kind of cloak? Coat? I've just rolled those two words into one there. Yeah, it's kind of like waistcoat thing, or just cloak in what is the word? Suit. That's, yeah, wow. This is a late night recording, so I'm losing my words. Yes, his suit. Works very well, especially with the nice little kind of tailcoat at the back there. Beautiful. It's also nice to see it in this sort of bright blue azure color here. I believe that's azure. It's a little hard to tell from the lighting in this image, but I'm pretty sure it's azure. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, you know. Nothing says a bold statement like a bright blue suit. It's lovely. He's also got some lovely like chain aesthetics and stuff, whether it's like a little bracelet there with a little gem on it, or a nice little necklace that he's got, or even a chain on his sword. It's amazing how chains can really enhance a mock. So if you're like me and you've got a little drawer of Lego chain pieces, try putting them on your mock. Might work really well, especially for something like a gentleman like this who might have like a little pocket watch or some jewelry or whatever. Or they could work well as, chains for a prisoner or something. I don't know. Have a think. Play around with the pieces because there's a lot of possibilities for them, that's for sure. But I'm still obsessed with the suit. Let's go back to that. It's using a lot of different Technic panel pieces. And I talk about these all the time. So, your different Technic sets these days, it's kind of the closest you can get to construction pieces these days. And most Technic sets have these interesting panels. They come in different shapes and sizes and colors. I'm showing you some here. They're very beautiful pieces. And yeah, if you kind of rearrange them in a funky way like this, you can get some really, really nice shaping and kind of give it this suit-like aesthetic of sorts. So yeah, take a look at some of your Technic sets. Don't just write them off. Maybe they're worth getting, and you can play around with some of the pieces and do some cool stuff like this. Maybe. It's up to you. On to the next mock now. This is VS Vindicated by AjRed. Original concept of the frame by Max Howell, it says on the email here. I only just read that there. But yes, let's pay homage to Mr. Max Howell as well. He built the frame, and it helps this mock look really, really nice. So immediately something that struck me about this mock is the really interesting connection of a Lego kind of minifigure bike piece in lime and putting it on the Skrull weapon there. I don't know. I assume that just attaches with friction. I kind of want to just like grab those two pieces myself and see. It's a weird connection, but it works really well. Kind of gives it like this, I guess it's attached by those system pieces, isn't it? I don't know if it necessarily inserts itself in there. Yeah, all right, maybe it's a little less exciting. I thought he discovered some crazy new connection of sorts there. But even though there's no, connection onto the Skrull weapon piece, it's still a nice connection. It gives it this interesting, I don't know, it kind of makes it look almost like a gun that he's holding, or it's just got this interesting kind of curve to it, like a sort of guard on a sword or something. So, I don't know, I think those two pieces work really nicely together, and it just enhances that sword piece quite a lot. So, yeah, even though I saw it differently before I recorded there, I still think it looks pretty cool anyway, and it's a clever little addition to the weapon there. I do agree, this frame is gorgeous, and it gives this mock a beautiful sort of stout, slightly evil look. And I'm surprised because that just blank mutter head there, with this specific frame and some of the sort of like sharper lime kind of gresh armor pieces that are being used as like shoulder pads and a kind of waist crotch thing. Yeah, there's something about it that suddenly looks a little bit more sinister now. So, I don't know, I'm surprised that a mutter head can suddenly have a bit more of an evil quality to it. I've never seen that be attributed to it before, but it really does look nice. So yeah, pretty unique and pretty cool indeed. I also love this leg design here. This is probably originally taken from Max's design here, but I love that he's used some of those Onawa arm pieces there as legs here. Really helps to create that digitigrade leg design there, and it just looks cool. Just looks cool. It's just a nice way to create that. What is a beautiful leg design? So nice work here, cool color scheme, and some interesting stuff that's going on here. That's for sure. So we'll move on to the next mock, but first, a quick announcement. Oh, hey there! So if you're a fan of the channel and you're hungry to watch more Ben Cossy videos, well, consider supporting me on Patreon. At the moment, there's over 30 hours worth of additional content, with way more on the way as new content is uploaded weekly. So for as little as $1 a month, you can have access to my Patreon podcasts, where I discuss all manner of LEGO and non-LEGO topics, and everything else in between. You'll also have access to my questions and answer videos, where you can ask me your questions and I answer them. And you'll also have access to my private Discord server, where you can have some nice chats with me and a very nice, friendly community. Also on Patreon, there's a whole bunch of other behind-the-scenes content that I'll be posting and all manner of other stuff. So there's a lot there to choose from. Additionally, there are also some exclusive videos on Patreon, like an additional tour of my collection that showcases some of the rarer and more obscure LEGO items that I have, as well as some other non-LEGO collectibles and items as well. So there's certainly a lot that you can have access to if you join the Patreon. So if you're interested, please consider supporting. There is a link in the description below, and your support is always appreciated. Thank you very much, guys. On to the next mock now. This is by my boy Fritz Mocks, and this is Waitara. So I like this. I like this a lot, actually. Again, more mutter heads. Lovely to see two of those in this episode here. A really distinct sort of beautiful kind of crest crown design here, with that kind of Rakshi head just sort of resting above the top of the head in this very sort of, fanciful looking design here with like feathers and horns and things. I think it's pretty cool. And nice to see a lot of other sort of gold attire, like these beautiful looking gauntlets here with the Zamisphere launchers there. Really, really clever, really fun. He also has a beautiful looking necklace of sorts here, using some of the spider web pieces that you get on different Spider-Man sets, and then attaching some clips and some teeth pieces to them to create, I guess, kind of like a bone necklace of sorts. It's a nice little addition, and we spoke about jewelry with chains and stuff before, but there's other kind of chain-like pieces that could make jewelry for your Bionicle mocks here, so that's very impressive. I also quite enjoy the staff. Again, seeing some more... I don't know, it's brown. I imagine it's sort of like a wooden staff with some other kind of like leaf, additions and details to it. And I guess that sort of mask is maybe like a wooden carving that's been put in there. And it's cool. I imagine it has some sort of magical powers since it's glowing orange and stuff. And it's a bit of fun. It's a nice little weapon here that fits the mock perfectly. And it's always nice when you can see a weapon that just perfectly complements the mock. Because, you can probably give a gun or a sword to pretty much any mock. But when it can really, really fit the concept or the idea, that's when it really shines. There's also an image here of this mock in its early days, some of its earlier sort of forms, if you will. And so it's nice to see the progression from its early stages to where it is now, really refining that color scheme there and just playing around and making it look even more schmick today. So I always like seeing that. I always like seeing the progression of mocks as people continue to evolve them. So, hey, if you're looking for something to build, maybe that's something to consider. Is there an older mock you made in the past that you really liked and maybe you could do it better today? Something to consider. Let's move to the next mock now. This is by Cameron Miller, and this is Miranda. So I believe this is a specific canon character. It is a late night recording tonight. I'm actually recording on my birthday, so I got stuff to do. I'm sorry. But if it does, I'm so sorry, I don't have time right now to look it up. But I've heard this name before. I did very quickly read a bit in the backstory here that said, if we look at the torso on this mock, that he's got all these different tile stud pieces in there, and he's saying that each one represents a specific element, and then I think because that's there, he has resistance to these elements or something. I don't know if that's from the actual canon story or if that's something he's just interpreted there. But either way, I think it's a really clever concept, and I like that it's kind of hidden behind like a rib cage, You could see this like some sort of boss fight in a video game where it's like, in order to defeat him, we have to strike an arrow into each of the different dots in his torso, and then suddenly we can hit him with our powered attacks and blah. And that's kind of fun, I know I said that in a joking voice, but it's I think that's a really cool concept, and it immediately starts to create story for me, or how he would use his powers, or how people would fight him, so I like little details like that. Speaking of little details, I love the head design on this guy here. Kind of adapting the Arisham head from the Eternals Lego set, changing up the color scheme a bit and stuff, and making a really unique head design, you know? It's an underrated look. I've always enjoyed the look of some of the Celestials from Marvel, so it's cool to see it sort of interpreted here on a Bionicle. And lovely, too, that he's added like a little mouth on the bottom there, just doing that age-old beautiful technique of putting the two gears together to look like a sort of beautiful mesh of teeth there. It's a nice design, and it works really, really well here. This also sort of like bone warrior look that this character's got is fantastic, and the red and the white is a fantastic color scheme too, and it's nice to see him kind of complementing it with some of those cricker pieces as well that we can see sort of as like wrist blades on the arms as well. So lovely little stuff going on here with this mock. Let's move over to the second last mock. This is a mock by erron-the-savior, and this is Afellia the Lustrous. So what's cool about this is the head design. I really, really enjoy that in some of these photos, their eyes are closed, they're open, or they've got the cool like love hearts and stuff. That's fun, you know, and some of these Dots Lego sets, really, really cool sets. I love them. I've done videos about Dots. I've always thought they were really cool. And some of those printed tile pieces, you get a bunch of them. And you can even buy those little Dots packs and stuff, and they come with heaps of them. And what's cool about it is, yeah, you get little Dots tiles like that, which is little love hearts or googly eyes or whatever, you know. So it's nice to see those really effectively being used here on this mock to convey personality, to also just be a really nice part use too. So yeah, I really like that a lot. It's clever, it's cool. I also like the dress design here, and I like in some of these photos that she's like curtsying and stuff. Yeah, I don't think I've ever really seen a mock curtsy before, unless I'm blanking here. This is not something I think I've seen before. It's cool, you know? It's a little hard to tell in these photos what specific cloth piece that is. Kind of with the frayed edges, I imagine it's a custom cloth piece, but it looks like he's attached it with like pegs or something. So I don't know. I don't specifically know what that is. Maybe the creator can let us know. But still, it's a nice little dress design that works well. And this is just a little bit of a fun mock with some clever little techniques, specifically on the head design there. I also really enjoy the shoulder design here, using two of those Makuta masks as little shoulder pads. There's something about them from specific angles where it just looks like this beautiful little like ornate finishing, like you would see on like a Greek pillar or something. And it's just a nice way to kind of round off those shoulders. It's fun. So it's a clever little part use there. Let's move over to the final mock, and this is a beauty. This is an absolute beauty. It's by Sandro Quattrini, and this is Dragon Hunter. This is so cool. This is awesome. I love the shaping on this, specifically on the torso there. Gorgeous. I love how he's using some of those curved slope pieces with the sort of like edge just slightly cut off for his rock hard abs. And then he's got those pecs there that also use some of those pieces, but, you know, adding a few different stuff there just to kind of buff it out a little bit more. It's a brilliant looking chest design. And then he's got a belt buckle. Now, that's fantastic. It's also cool that it's one of the greater Lego pieces that I've always wanted, but I know I do have one. I do. I need to dig that out. I bricklinked it one day. So it is a chrome silver like shield that came on like this really tiny castle set. It was a weird set. I never saw it here in Australia, but yeah, I'm sure it exists. Of course it exists. He's got it right here. But it works really nicely as this beautiful little belt buckle here. And I love too that he's used that specific chrome piece, because you get some really fancy belt buckles these days. So it's nice to see it represented here. It's fantastic. Lovely little detail. And then I love this crazy weird head design, again, using that gear tooth mouthpiece thing. It's a fantastic design. But yeah, the head design, the fact he doesn't necessarily have eyes, or maybe he kind of sort of does, I don't know, but they're kind of hidden behind this helmet. It's just a unique design, kind of reminds me of the old mouth of Sauron from Lord of the Rings, or not the moderator on Discord, different guy. But, you know, he's got a similar helmet like that, so yeah, it's pretty cool. The coolest thing, though, is this gun. I love this gun. Not only is it a cool gun design, but he's got this like dragon like draped over it, which could just be some ornate detailing, or maybe this dude, since his name is Dragon Hunter, has killed a tiny dragon and he's just draped it over his gun because he's like, that's what I do, that's my job. I love that. That's awesome. It does remind me of this Nerf gun I saw one time when I was at the shops looking to buy some Lego. And I was like, oh, I don't collect Nerf guns, but that's cool. It's like a dragon gun thing. I don't know. It's fantastic. I like the idea of, I don't know, you use the armor or the hide of a dragon or whatever and embed it into your gun because it's got cool properties or something. I don't know. It's just a clever idea. So I think that's a fantastic gun design. Best gun design of 2022. This mock was posted in 2022, yeah? Yeah, it was posted in April 14th of 2022. Wow. Yeah, love that gun design. Really, really cool. And as is this MOC, and as was all the MOCs in today's episode of the Bionicle Inspiration series. I hope you very much enjoyed. And yeah, more fan submitted MOCs coming soon. Don't forget to submit your stuff. I'll put it in other episodes of BIS. Why not? Check the links in the description, like I said. Check out all the MOCs you saw today, and check out some of the other things these builders have done. And also in the links in the description are links to my own social media, so you can check out some of that stuff that I've got going on over there. And you can also see access to my Patreon. You can also see access to my P.O. box, whichever one you want to do. If you want to send me something through the P.O. box, or if you want to join my Patreon and get access to all sorts of goodies that you saw in the advert just before, well, that's something you can consider doing. No obligation to do so if you don't want to, but if you're interested, it's there for you. Thank you very much for watching. Happy building, and bye for now.